guys, and welcome back to another episode of our Pokemon Battle Series, the School of Hard Knocks. So throughout this episode, like every other, we'll be jumping on to the Pokemon Global Link Passport ladder, playing under the Championship Battle rules, which are the equivalent rule set of the VGC 2019 season. We are in the Sun series of this three-part season, with no Z-moves, no Mega Stones, which is so refreshing, and I am really having a great time. I hope you guys are enjoying this Sun series. If you are, let me know in the comment section below, and we are going to continue on today and finish off this week with the Groudon Ho-Oh team that we've been playing so far this week. We're going to have another week with it on the channel just to delve into it a bit more, but it's been a lot of fun so far, so hopefully this fun continues, the success continues, and we keep having success with the team, because I do feel like it is very good and I do really enjoy playing it. So I hope that transitions to you watching it as well and you get a lot of enjoyment out of it. So without further ado, let's jump on to the Battle Spot ladder and find ourselves some opponents to play. And as always, if you enjoy the content, guys, you enjoy the videos, do leave a like and that thumbs up button down below, and leave your comments as well, because I love reading your thoughts on the team, on the battles, just anything in general on the format as well. So do make sure to leave something in the comment section below. So let's get the music on, and we can get this show on the road, guys. So there we go. Japan, 17-18 rated player, playing a team of Ho-Oh, yes, you know Ho-Oh, Kyogre, Ludicolo, Ferrothorn, Raichu, and Bishop. Really interesting picks here for my opponent. You've got the Raichu to support the Kyogre, the Ho-Oh there, with its Lightning Rod ability. You've got the Bishop as well to kind of get around the Intimidate shuffling as well from opponents, especially onto something like Ho-Oh, which really neuters it. So that protection there is really nice. You've got that common combination of Kyogre, Ludicolo there as well, and it also supports the Ho-Oh, and then the Trick Room check is going to be the Ferrothorn there. So what do we want to do? I think like Groudon Venusaur isn't bad, but you have to be wary of that Ho-Oh, of course. We do have Rock Slide on our Groudon, so that's something we can always think about bringing. And I think I might actually be tempted to lead. Do I want to lead? I don't know. Ho-Oh, Incineroar, Ho-Oh, Ludicolo. Ludicolo is going to be good here, but it does not like facing down against Ho-Oh at all. I might leave Venusaur, leave Ludi on the bench, bring Groudon for sure. And then I think I'm going to bring Incineroar. Incineroar is just good for switching on the Ferrothorn, and we've got to ignore the Defiant. We can't let us bring our Intimidate user. We just got to be careful when we bring it in, hopefully not to proc the Defiant ability on that Bishop, because if we do, it's going to be a little bit more awkward to deal with. So let's see what my opponent brings as lead. I'd imagine a Raichu to come out. I really would, if anything. There it is. Oh, Raichu. So, Venusaur's not in the best of spots here. We could see the Raichu switch out for the Bishop. I don't know how likely that is. Like, we could see that happen. The thing that I want to potentially do here is just Sacred Fire the Raichu and go into Incineroar. Sorry, my phone is going off. It shouldn't be. Yeah, I was saying, sorry. So I'm getting really distracted there. The Incineroar, I'll get the Intimidate onto the Ho-Oh. I'm pretty safe bringing it in here, I think. I don't think the Bishop's going to come in. The only risk of the Raichu switching out to Bishop could proc the Defiant ability, but we are covering that slot with a Sacred Fire as well. So the only thing that I think might happen is the Ho-Oh potentially going for a Tailwind on my opponent's side of the field, but we can match that the next turn if we'd like to as well. So yeah, there we go. There's Incineroar in. Good lad. What's the Raichu doing? Nuzzle. Okay. Into Incineroar. I mean, out of the two things on our side of the field, I really don't mind that too much, and Substitute coming out for the Ho-Oh. And we'll get a Sacred Fire into the Raichu and take it down to Sash, which is very nice. We probably want to fake out that slot the next turn, just so we don't incur any more Wrath of Nuzzle. And probably go for, I think I'm going to go Tailwind while we've got the opportunity to. So we'll just fake out the Raichu. It probably switches out here though to come in later in the game. It probably doesn't want to go down so easily here. But getting the Tailwind up is going to be quite useful for us, I think. Okay, so the Raichu is going to go down. Yeah, there's Brave Bird from the opposing Ho-Oh. It's -1, so it's not going to be hitting as hard. Probably into our Ho-Oh. Yeah. It still does decent damage though, doesn't it? It still does really nice damage, but we get the Tailwind up, which is the main thing, which is good. So if that Kyogre comes in now, this is the thing, this is why I've done this. So if the Kyogre comes in now, we can always get a Brave Bird off onto it and get our Groudon in. There's a Kyogre. I've got to imagine it's going to be Origin Pulse though, over anything else. But I've got a Brave Bird that slot, really. I have to Brave Bird it in case it does go for water. I don't think it does go for water spout though. Really don't think it does. Let's go Brave Bird into it. Likelihood is we do lose our Ho-Oh here. I do like the combination of Ho-Oh and Kyogre. It is very strong. Because when you bring your Groudon to counteract the Kyogre's weather, the Ho-Oh benefits from it, doesn't it? So that's the big plus about it. Let's see. Hopefully we can do some big damage. And I would love to see Water Spout here. I doubt it will be though. I think it's more likely it's Origin Pulse. Could miss, yeah. No, miss. It's Ho-Oh should take it. Yeah, we take it with Ho-Oh. And it was a crit. Jeez Louise. Wow, okay, that's insane. We'll get the Ho, like, yeah, so there's the Brave Bird coming out. I think the next turn we double into the opposing Ho-Oh with Rock Slide. Okay, yeah, we Rock Slide and Brave Bird into the opposing Ho-Oh. Because the Kyogre's going to feel so threatened right now. Like, the Brave Bird takes it down. And I don't know if the opposing Ho-Oh has Protect. If it doesn't, it's in a lot of trouble. So we'll go Rock Slide and we'll go Brave Bird. First time we're hitting Rock Slide button on the Groudon. Nothing wrong with that. Rock Slide, we all know, is like one of the best moves in this game. Especially when you're faster than your opponent. Kyogre switching out. I guess the thing that would work, like, not be great here is Protect on the Ho-Oh. But if it doesn't have Protect, which it doesn't, we should get it now. With a Brave Bird will break the sub, and a Rock Slide will definitely take it down. Yep. Okay, so that's all dealt with. And big chunk to Ludi as well. Right. Okay. Still not over by any means, because we've got Fake Out to contend with this next turn. But we do have Venusaur on the back, so we could probably bring in Incineroar this next turn. Yeah, we bring in Incineroar, sack Incineroar, sack Ho-Oh, then get Groudon, Venusaur in, and then we win, I think. So, we'll Brave Bird the Kyogre. Like, there's no doubt, you Fake Out into the Ho-Oh. The problem is, like, even knowing this, I need to get Groudon out to get the Sun back up to win this Weather War. Because we need to win the Weather War to win this match. So there's not really any compromise on our side of the field. My opponent probably knows this, and that's why the Fake Out into the Ho-Ohs. So obvious. You may see an Origin Pulse miss. I mean, that's something we can hope for. It'll make it a lot easier for us to deal with. If Origin Pulse does miss a Ho-Oh here. Critical hit. What the heck? Origin Pulse. No misses. It will take both down. No doubt. But that's fine, because like we get the free switch in to Venusaur, to Groudon. And we'll be able to just win. We should be able to win out this game now. Groudon and Venusaur. We can just Sludge Bomb the Venusaur. We don't need to worry about the Kyogre, because we can always Grass Knot at the next turn. And we can just go, might even throw out a Thunder Punch with Groudon. Pull out its attacks that we haven't seen from it yet. That's what we want to do. little showcase. I don't know if we'll get an attack off with Groudon. You never know, we might do. But we'll go for that Sludge Bomb into the Ludi. It's been chipped, so it's in range to go down to a Sludge Bomb now. And the Thunder Punch, if we can outspeed that Kyogre, we'll pick up the kill there. We don't need to risk a Precipice miss. Okay, there's a Sludge Bomb. Yep, we get the Ludi. Origin Pulse, Venusaur misses. Does Groudon take this? I don't think it does. Nah. But Venusaur dodges it like a ninja because it's so fast in the sun. It's like, sorry, I'll stop. I'll behave myself. And then the Grass Knot obviously just gets the Kyogre here. So very good game to my opponent. And a nice way for us to kick off today, isn't it? And my opponent just forfeits. So yeah. Really tough game, but the Tailwind kind of saved us there, and that was the big turning point for us, because it put us, like I said at the time, put us into that position where if the Kyogre comes in like we expected to, then we can throw out a Brave Bird onto it before it can Water Spout, which is the big thing, especially if it was Scarfed. We didn't know at that point in the game, so that was really good. Right. Without further ado, let's just jump straight back into the mix and see if we can find our next opponent. And hopefully it doesn't take too long. What music are we going to go for? Should we go for Necrozma version 2? We haven't had that for a while. I do love that track. It is a great track, isn't it? It is a great track. And Cosmos from Japan, 1612. It must be hitting, it must be like Japan time for Pokemon battling. But Cosmos is our next opponent, and we're playing up against Kyogre, Lunala, Ludicolo, Tapu Lele, Incineroar, and Kartana. So a Kyogre, Lunala core here. We've got the support there from the Ludicolo. We're probably going to have like double Psychic from the Lunala and the Tapu Lele. So we do need to be careful about that. I think maybe here we bring Coco, because I just like the idea of having Coco to just chip down the Lunala and I do really like the Incineroar as well as an option. Outside of that, what do we do? Do we do that at all? It's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult. Because I really like Coco here in Groudon, but I feel like we need. Could we get away without Venusaur and Ludicolo? I don't know if we can, to be honest. We probably can't. I reckon we can. I reckon we bring both our restrictors and just lock in. Let's see what my opponent goes for. Like leaving both our grass types? It's a bit crazy, but I really want the Groudon for its just its presence. If we can get the Tailwind up with Ho-Oh, then it just becomes so much easier just to run through teams with that choice band. It's just ridiculously strong. It makes it a bit difficult if we get pinned, like a pinned board position where they've got, like we got Groudon out and they get Kyogre out without Groudon on the field. So we just need to play that, like we need to keep that in mind. We can't let ourselves fall into that trap, because then we've got nothing really to switch in for free onto our Groudon switch out. So we're going to see Lunala and Incineroar come in here. Going to see a fake out for sure into our Coco, and probably an attack into that Coco as well. I think what we'll do is we'll protect Coco turn 1, and I'm just going to go for a knockoff into the Lunala here. I don't want to lose Coco. I don't want to get faked out and then double tapped into that slot and just lose it for nothing. But we're going to see a fake out into the Incineroar. That's fine. And then a Tailwind. Okay, that makes a lot more sense for my opponent. Does the Incineroar outspeed Coco? That's the question. I don't know if it does. I'm going to go knock off and Dazzle into the Lunala regardless. Do we take the Moon? Geist Beam. Poco takes it, gets a Dazzle, so that's excellent. I'm going to trade that for the Lunala here. And a U-turn, so I don't know if this takes... Oh, it will do, of course. With the recoil damage, it takes Poco down, so... And hopefully a knockoff is enough. We are intimidated, that's the only problem. But if Kyogre comes in here, this is really good for us. Because we don't get into that position where we're like pinned, almost. But it is Kartana, of course. But I mean, we've got Ho-Oh in the back, so that's fine. And the knockoff, yeah. Easy. Easy. Okay. Psychic Seed. Interesting. So let's bring in Ho-Oh. We don't want to bring in Groudon just yet. We want to try and match the Tailwind, first of all. And Flare Blitz into the Kartana. Imagine the Kartana is sashed. I mean, one option we could do is try and Tailwind and get Groudon in, and then Groudon out for Kyogre, for Incineroar the next turn to cycle and Intimidate. Because the one thing I could see coming into the Groudon slot would be probably Fake Out and a Sacred Sword, which we'll take with Groudon. It's not the end of the world. And I feel like Incineroar here is quite important for us. And we probably just want to be using Groudon at this point to overwrite the weather when it comes in from Kyogre. So as long as my opponent doesn't switch in Kyogre now, we should be alright. But we'll see what my opponent goes for. Because the Kartana struggles so hard against Ho-Oh anyway. There's Groudon in. Kartana detecting. Why not be sashed then? U-turn. Oh dear. Now Kyogre's gonna come in. This is not what we want. It's not what we want at all. Especially with the electric terrain up. It makes it a bit more difficult. This is a position, yeah, the U-turn. I never really counted on the U-turn. Get the Tailwind up. And we can't protect with Groudon here. We just can't. I'd even say my opponent probably doubles in to the Groudon slot with Sacred Sword, Origin Pulse. Their Tailwind runs out in one turn, yeah. So they've only got one turn of Tailwind. Okay. Let's go Brave Bird into the Kyogre. Let's hope that the Kyogre just procs the berry on the Ho-Oh. And how I built it, it should just proc it. Even if it's a water spout, we should take it, it should proc our berry. Okay, Kartana gonna see Incineroar come in. Makes it a bit better for when Groudon comes back in on the field, to be honest, because we should lose Incineroar here, I would imagine. All going well, Ho-Oh sticks around, and then we get Groudon back in. But then it's easy for my opponent just to switch the Kyogre out to the Kartana, and then get the Kyogre back in here. So there's a water spout. Oh, don't do this. Oh, of all the times, of one. That is the worst. Like, we take that. I've been talking about taking that water spout. All things to happen. Oh, that is so disappointing. So disappointing. Critical hit water spout. There's no need for that. There's no need for that. But I mean, what do? You can't do, like, you can only plan ahead so much before things just get taken apart. Yeah, fake out. It's an easy fake out. Yeah, I mean, we can't do anything now. We've not got enough Tailwind turns. I think we've got one left. Unless my opponent makes a stupid play, switches the Incineroar out for the Kyogre, and that Kartana isn't sashed, then I don't see us winning. Yeah, I mean, you just let the Incineroar, let the Incineroar go down here. And the Kyogre's probably, oh, okay. I mean, yeah. Huh. Oh, just put us out of our misery, Cosmos. You will never know our pain. You will just presume that our water spout always kills. Hot off and full health in the rain, when it never does. And there's the Leaf Blade. So good game to my opponent. I mean, I think we did everything we could to try and set up an end position. Like, we take that, procs our berry, we get a Brave Bird onto the Kyogre, we get Groudon in, and we're sitting pretty nice at that point. So, I mean, yeah, what can you do? So, that's just it. But we'll round up this week. It's a bit sad to end on a loss, as always. But it happens, doesn't it? Seems to happen. RNG is kind to us sometimes, not kind some other times. So, what can you do? It is Pokemon, isn't it? But don't let that result ruin your weekend, guys. You go away and have a lovely time, whatever you're doing. And I hope you do whatever you end up doing. Have a great time. We are going to end up there. It's been amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I really hope you've enjoyed the episode. And do let me know in the comment section below what you think of the team and of the games today, because I would love to hear from all of you about everything. So that will round it up, guys. Take care of yourselves. Have a great weekend. We'll be back next week with more School of Hard Knocks. Playing this team for another week before we move on. So just hope you enjoy it. Have a lot of fun. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks again, guys. Take care, and bye-bye.